Here with NFL Network draft analyst Daniel Jeremiah, who just put out his latest top 50 prospects on NFL.com. And I know in your conference call last week, DJ, you said you love the defensive line class, and the Bills are in the market for them, despite drafting 3 last year in T.J. Sanders, Landon Jackson, and Deion Walker. You said you feel the draft is deep at edge rusher, but a lot of teams need edge rushers. 18 NFL clubs did not have a pass rusher with double-digit sacks. Yeah. They're going to be in the market, and they're going to fly off the board. So my question is the edge class strong enough for there to be a value for the Bills down at 26? And if not, how deep does it run where they can get a speed guy off the edge for the new 3-4 defense?
Yeah, I think there's options. I do think there is depth. And the interesting thing, if you look at the last 2 years, I mean, the Eagles win the Super Bowl, didn't have anybody with 10 sacks. The Seahawks win the Super Bowl this year, didn't have anybody with 10 sacks. And you would watch those games and go, they were dominant along the line of scrimmage, because it's really become, I know the Eagles call it their alpha and their bravo units. Like, it's having, that's their secret sauce, is we have so many guys that not only does it keep us fresh within games, at the end of the year, we've taken some of those miles off these guys, and so they look like they're rushing at a different pace and a different speed because they just got numbers.
One of the other things about these drafts, it has become almost a yearly event. The wide receivers coming out seem to be pretty deep. Seems to be a good group. Obviously, the wide receivers a huge conversation in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Picking at 26, I mean, what do you think?
I think there's good players there, and I think we could probably cut and paste this conversation for the next 10 years and have the same one, because there's just receivers every year. The college game has given us wideouts every single year. So there's different flavors and options. To me, it's finding what you feel like is the need there and what skill set you're looking for. I like a bigger guy. Mm-hmm. I just think it makes sense for them. And having somebody who can be a ball winner is what I've kind of honed in on with Buffalo. You get down in the red zone, who has a frame that can give Josh a chance to have somebody who can just win up top. And so, I think I've been talking a lot about Malachi Fields from Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. And here's the pushback that I've gotten is, well, yeah, but I think he caught, 40 balls, and it's 500
Well, it's a
yards.
run-first offense at Notre Dame,
so
right?
So here's my point, is I went back and if you looked at this year, the top 30 wideouts in the NFL in terms of just yardage, and I went back and looked at their last college season, and it was fascinating what I saw, which was, guys like Landon Collins didn't have much production his last year at Michigan. I see, Ladd McConkey, he caught 20-something balls his last year at Georgia. Stephon Diggs at Maryland didn't have a ton of production his last year. What I'm getting at is you're quarterback and offense dependent as a wide receiver. That does not necessarily dictate how you're going to translate to the next level. You're grading the individual skill set and what he can do, and that's a guy who goes down to the Senior Bowl and was the best receiver down there, made acrobatic catches, can go play above the rim, has shown he can get off the line of scrimmage with quickness. He can win at the top of routes. So guys like him, there's Boston from Washington, right. I think is going to run in the mid-4.4s. He's a big guy who's acrobatic and go play as well, go play that high ball. I would love to see Josh get a chance to play with that type of player.
Yeah, I mean, because in your top 50, just to take this receiver conversation a step further, you had Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, 17. He gets dinged a little for his injury history. You mentioned Boston, who gets knocked for not producing against top-flight competition in games. And then you have Indiana's Omar Cooper right after him at 19. Yeah. And, he gets dinged a little bit for his separation ability. Clearly, you like them all a lot. If you have them 17, 18, 19, is one of them possibly there at 26?
Yeah, I mean, Tyson, I think, will go. His thing being the durability, somebody's going to be okay with that and not care just because the talent is what it is. The other guys, I look at we watch the playoff games, and to me, you better be able to win in crowds. Yeah, you're the best receivers in the world. It's still hard to create separation when you get in the postseason and you're playing with the top defenses and the top cover guys. So I need somebody who can win and can win contested balls. And Cooper does that notoriously in a game winner against Penn State when he was at Indiana and several
And that's
other
good coverage, too, there on that play.
And then you see it with Boston as well, who can win in those quarters. So I like their skill sets. I think those guys all translate really well.
The Bills are really in we've talked about it a little bit, but really in an upheaval on the defensive side of the ball with their roster. They changed from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Don't know if all the guys are going to fit. Got some free agents over there as well. But one of the things that has been pretty solid has been their nickel corner, Taron Johnson. He turns 30 this year. Mm-hmm. This draft's got some guys at nickel corner in it. What are your thoughts about getting a guy in a pipeline, or how deep into this draft can you go and still get a guy who, even if he has to develop, you've got a chance to sit behind Taryn to watch him for a minute and get your legs under you. So how deep in this draft can you go to get a corner that has the physical abilities?
I think it's a really good corner group. It's a really good slot corner group. So, a guy like Keontae Scott from Miami, I don't think he's going to be able to do anything here. He had surgery after the season was over. But, if you watch them throughout the playoffs, the pick six that he made, the energy that he brings, the ability to blitz and tackle, all that stuff, he's excellent. Pons is tiny out of Indiana.
Yeah.
I think he might end up being the smallest corner in the NFL when he comes in, which is not – a lot of people aren't wanting to put that flag in the ground. But maybe that causes him to slide and drop down the board a little bit. He's a really, really good football player. Traden Stukes from Arizona, I think, is going to probably be a third-round type pick, someone who can play there in that nickel. I think there's some fun names. And to me, the thing with nickels has changed. Maybe 10 years ago, we talked about, is it either little cover guys, you can match the little quick guys. And now, obviously, we've kind of trended towards the bigger nickels who can be force players, excellent tacklers. I think McVay is probably responsible for that. So many, he kind of brought that condensed formation back and pulling those corners into run fits. And it's like, man, if you got that little kid out there that can cover and can't tackle, well, then they're going to be the force player every single time.
That's right.
So I think we've got some guys who have some of that physicality and toughness.
The Bills got into that as well. Taron Johnson, the teams, they would stay in nickel constantly.
Yeah.
And teams would pull a 300-pounder around and force Taron Johnson. And one of the
reasons
you
can't cut him anymore.
Yeah. So it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah. Nose tackle, another positional need now. It's kind of unclear as to whether Deion Walker at 6'7" can play the two gap. He can't get low enough to kind of take on those two guys. And I was surprised, DJ. Like, I just did a casual search. Give me 2026 draft prospects that go over 315 pounds. Like 15 guys popped up. Mm-hmm. How many have, like, day one, day two draftable grades in your mind that, that can help and maybe step in right away and be that two-gap guy?
Yeah, grade-wise, I have a lot of guys that fall more into the third-round group. I think there's a big collection of third-round guys. And it's hard because, I've got to divorce myself from this old way of thinking, which is we went from the beginning of my scouting career in 2003, which was we had value for space eaters and, guys who could play the run. And then we went, well, it's a passing league. If you can't rush the quarterback, you can't take him that high.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're right back where we started. We want to play with two high safeties, and we got to be able to stop the run with bigger guys up front. So it's kind of come all the way back around. Isn't that funny?
Back. Yeah, we've talked about that on our daily show as well, where teams are starting – This team's linebackers are too light and good at coverage, but they don't come up to stop the run, so we're going to push them. And it's a problem because now I think you've got a mix of teams in the league that are built to run the ball and heavy and have big tight ends and sixth offensive linemen, and other teams that are, 5 wide kind of and you got to patch up with them.
Well, again, I go back to the Seahawks, and they found they got the two elite players in Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy who can do both. They can both play two gaps if you want them to and be very firm against the run while also offering some upfield ability when you get a chance to rush the passer. Those guys are hard to find. So what I'm getting at is I've valued personally those plugger types, those 325-pound guys as like that's a third-round pick for me. Like there's a collection of those guys where maybe there's 6 of them and Benny from Michigan might be here, and Dominic Orange from Ohio State might be there, and maybe there's 5 guys in between them, but I'd be happy with any of the 6.
No, that's a good place, I think, for the Bills to maybe mine one and pull one out of the draft on day 2. Linebacker class, solid 2. I know your first mock, you had Georgia's C.J. Allen to the Bills, which I would love.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that kid.
But by the way, though, that's not popular. This is my
my God, not popular.
My favorite thing with this is, especially like needs with teams. And linebackers one of them. It's just not a sexy pick to a fan.
I know it's not a sexy pick, but when you're picking 26, and you can get
player.
like the second best linebacker off the board that plays inside and off the ball, I'd be all for that. But with the Bills, moving to this 3-4 under Jim Leonard, we're trying to determine like who on the roster fits that Mike spot. I think Bernard played the weak inside linebacker at Baylor under Ananda, so he's familiar over there. They're probably moving him there. They need a Mike.
Yeah.
So, C.J. Allen's great. I know you love him. what other Mikes could be there through the first couple of days?
Well, that's one there right at the top in terms of playing with that physicality. I talked to the guys at Georgia and that have been there for a long time, and this guy's got a lot of Roquan to him. Just kind of reminds
leader
us a lot
type
of that.
too.
He can run. He's going to run. I mean, I don't know if he's going to run here, but I was told he'll run in the 4.5s. He can go. So he's got the range as well. That's a good one. There's other guys as you go throughout the draft. I don't know how high teams are going to take Rodriguez from Texas Tech. I think he probably goes in the 3rd round. But he can be also, as a green dot player in a nerve center. Golday's is
thick.
He's going to be 6'4", real long, a little bit narrow, can run all day long. To me, if you remember when Van Der Esch was coming out, kind of reminds me of him a little bit. But a really, really good player. He's going to test really, really well.
Okay.
So you had your favorite player in this draft was Miami defensive lineman Akeem Mesidor. Tell us what do you like about him? Because he'll go. What do you like about him?
Well, there's you're watching the tape and as you're writing your notes and you're trying to be professional, right? And so you go back to your training and you're right. And then all of a sudden I looked at my notes and I've got werewolf, warrior. I'm this is not really scouting, but this guy's just so fun to watch that
he's relentless, right?
He doesn't stop.
Yeah.
There's guys who just refuse to be blocked, and that's how he plays. And he can win with some quickness. He'll rush through your face with just pure power. But the relentlessness to me is what stands out. I used to, one of my best friends is Jeremiah Washburn, who coaches outside linebackers for the Eagles, and we came up through the Ravens at the same time. And his dad was Jim Washburn, kind of legendary defensive line coach. Mm-hmm. And so his dad had told us when we were young, just getting started, hey, every year you need to watch the sack tape at the end of the season. So literally every sack in the NFL, you watch it, and you'll start to notice some things. So when I did that as a young scout, and you'd be shocked. These guys that have 16, 17 sacks, 6 of them or 7 of them are just because they're relentless. And it's not like they've won. It wasn't a clean move off the line.
Didn't fall into one.
No, they just never stopped working. And that's how that guy plays.
Yeah.
DJ, thanks for the time as always. Always great to catch up with you here at the Combine. We'll keep an eye on your stuff at NFL.com down the line. Good luck with the coverage this week.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, that's Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network analyst.